count. Just you're out, restaurant, walking down the street, grocery store, something like that.
Is it Ed Helms that you saw at Starbucks one time?
That's a pretty good one.
Could be. I'm trying to think if there's, and I was kind of holding on to that one, saying, nah, it might be somebody else.
It's pretty good.
I don't know if there's another one.
Taylor, do you have one?
Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, that's a
great
one.
one.
Where'd you see him?
The Palm.
Oh, having dinner?
Yeah.
Okay. Mine
Did
is
you just like cutting into your steak, saying,
Iron Man, what's up? You should have gone deep track and like asked him about weird science or something like that. Like go way into his film.
I wouldn't even know what to say, honestly.
Loved you in weird science. What's up with Deb and Hilly?
I'd be lying.
Joe Pesci at a car wash.
Oh, that's game over.
It was
Nice.
That's game over.
his is much bigger. He's Iron Man. He's like in the biggest grossing movies of all time.
I'd rather see.
I would too, but
I'd
his
rather
is a
see.
much bigger
Like the Vince
star.
Vaughn one that's like an exciting one. Like, wow, that's Vince Vaun.
Yeah. Joe Pesci
for us.
getting his car washed, just sitting there.
Amazing.
This was before like cell phones. Just reading a newspaper, just hanging out.
Toothpick too, and just.
It was odd. Like, oh,
That's awesome.
Look, Joe Pesci. Hey, what's up? It's pretty exciting. So
I got one more at a restaurant too. Gordon Ramsay.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
But isn't that not a little like Laker celebrity thing? Because Gordon Ramsay, was he eating or was he cooking?
Eating with his fam.
Oh, okay, that
with his
definitely
fam.
counts. All right, so with the idea of wanting to get somebody in the industry's help on this, somebody sent me this weekend. I just sent it to you, Slee.
Yeah.
The Slug from the Hollywood Reporter says, Dodger great Fernando Valenzuela getting limited series treatment. And this is a scripted series that they're going to try to put together that does not have a home yet. It's going to be called Fernando Mania. And it's going to tell the story of his rise from the small town in Mexico that he grew up in to coming to Los Angeles and his kind of reconnecting the Mexican-American community here in Los Angeles that had been kind of marginalized by the Dodger Stadium Chavez Ravine project and everything. There was some bad blood there for a very long time. Fernando built that bridge together. Fernando's a part of it. He's one of the executive producers on this whole thing. And I don't ask for much, but I would very, very much like to somehow be involved in this, even if it's just as an extra standing in the background doing nothing.
Yeah,
this has to happen.
I was going to say, I think the best shot you have is if you're in the background somewhere, right? Just in the background, not trying to do much, just trying to help out where you can.
I don't need to play Bert Hooton, who was in the rotation when he came
The question's going to be, I think what you got to ask Mace when he comes in. You know, Mace, I feel like, is connected. I feel like Mace
in some movies.
knows some people, right? Everybody knows Mace also for being in a league of their own.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Mace has an angle here. Maybe there's a way that Mace can help out.
I'm going to ask.
What if you asked him and then he thought it was a good idea and then he's in it?
It's a risk I'm willing to take.
And then he's eventually in it.
If he usurps the role, then good for him for having more connections than I do, which he definitely does. But does this not seem like something that they're going to need somebody like me? Not to do anything meaningful, just to kind of, I'll be a seat filler at Dodger Stadium. We can go over there and shoot it in the middle of the winter. I'll go retro Dodger cap, one of those old helmets with the little brown crown on the
What
inside.
if they did like auditions and you didn't make the cut? To just be in the stands.
I would go to acting school. I would apply to the Yale School of Drama. I would go down to USC and UCLA and anywhere else that has a film school and study my
And
ass
if you
off.
asked, you said, what did I do wrong? You said, you ate your food way too fast.
Travis.
Yes.
So what if this?
Let the food marinate.
You get be an extra on this, and then the limited series gets made. If it lives on something like Hulu or HBO, would you pay a subscription fee to watch the Fernando Mania?
I'm in it or I'm not in it. Yes, the answer is yes. No matter where this thing exists, I don't care if it's in some wildly esoteric, weird streaming service.
Right.
I'm buying this. I need to see it, whether it's great or terrible or anywhere in
You have
between.
to see it. Of course you do.
Need to
It'll
see
be great.
it.
It'll be great.
It's a pretty good story.
Yeah.
If Fernando's involved, you're going to get some pretty good juice in it. What roles could I play other than just fan?
Third base coach.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Why don't you sit in third base?
That's not a bad idea at all. That was probably Joe. Okay, this is how big.
Well,
of a
here's the
loser
problem.
I am. You
Here's
ready?
the problem too. Then you're heavily involved. Well, actually, we don't know.
Here's the problem.
Yeah.
I know who the third base coach was for the Dodgers during that era, Joey Amalfitano. He was there forever and ever and ever. I'm a lot bigger than he is. I would not Dodger fans would know. That doesn't.
Yeah,
Joey
no.
Amalfitano's
Would you play an
guy.
umpire?
Okay,
Yeah, I could see you.
Okay.
I don't know.
getting closer.
Call some strikes.
No, I think, but he'll be on
umpire's a good
first.
idea.
He'll be first.
The first base coach.
Yeah.
That was Manny Mota.
No, I'm saying you're the ump at first.
I want to be behind the plate.
I know you do, but they went through everything and they just said, "Look, we can't give you this role, but we're giving you that role."
I have the carriage of a home plate umpire, right? Like I feel like I could, because look, somebody's gonna be playing Mike Scioscia back there. You need somebody that can fill up the scene a little bit.
Yeah.
I think this is a good idea. People, reach out, hook me up. Let's take care of this.
Somebody's listening has some kind of connection to this.
I just look. I'll come in and sweep the set, right? If we're doing like some set work and you just need some janitorial services, I don't care what it is. I just want to be a part of it.
It's a good thing to be a part of.
What show do you want to be a part of, Slee?
But by the way, I thought a little bit more. One time was having dinner at a restaurant, and Kevin Hart was sitting in the. So that's the biggest one. Kevin Hart was sitting like literally right in front.
Somebody just cut right to us. My buddy Greg said, "Trav, you could play Scioscia." I mean, bald, bigger. This kind
I think you might have a shot here.
I could catch the
you
ball.
You can go for Scioscia, and then whatever. If Scioscia doesn't pan out,
look,
you'll take any other role underneath.
I could be a catcher as an actor. I know the moves. You know, like what have you heard me complain about a million times? You can't have somebody out there that doesn't look like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Finding someone that can throw like Fernando is going to be a challenge, right? Fernando's a very specific wind-up, eyes to the sky.
You're in the baseball world.
I could go
life.
back behind the home plate.
Yeah.
I could pull that off. It's been in a very limited. We're going to have to get some creative editing, but I could pull it off.
Okay, let's just pretend for a quick second. You are casting for that role.
Yes.
2-2 count. You're the ump behind the plate. What's your strike three call?
Okay, so this is you ready?
Yeah.
I need you to tell me which umpire I'm playing because I know how they all used to do it. My level of dorkiness when it comes to this stuff.
Whichever one you think
Dutch Renner
helps you get the
I
role.
want to be Dutch Renner.
Look right into that camera there. It's a 2-2 count, and you're getting a chance right now.
Give me a second to get into character.
Yep,
so
get into
you need
character.
to talk for a second.
Yep.
But I'm going to get there and I'm going to do my Dutch Renner.
Yep. The 1-2 pitch. Ball. 2-2 now. Sitting at 2-2 right now, and I'm going to let you take over from here. Here comes the 2-2 pitch.
Strike 2! That's how he would do it. That was Dutch Renner. Every time there was a strike, he would jump up, raise his hand in the air, make a 90-degree turn to his right, and either one, two, or three.
As an outsider here, the fact that you went with somebody that animated, now I'm saying to myself, this guy he's basically trying to take over the scene. Now nobody even remembers Fernando.
I'm a method, Slee. If it's about Dutch Renner, if it's John McSherry, I got to go put on 150 pounds because that's how it was that back in the day. Like I know all of these guys along the way. I'm going to fill that role perfectly.
All right, let's see how it pans out. Calling all LAFC fans. Trav and I are giving away a chance to win tickets to see LAFC host Philly in tomorrow's Champions League game. Here's how you can win. Call 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-ESPN. Call number 7 wins a 4-pack of tickets to see LAFC host Philadelphia Union at BMO Stadium on Tuesday, May 2nd. A spot in the CCL final is at stake. Get tickets to see LAFC at LAFC.com.
Somebody is suggesting that I could be Terry Forster, which if you're a Dodger fan from the 80s is not cool. Terry Forster is the one that David Letterman called a fat tub of goo.
Oh, that's not good.
And then Terry Forster went on with David Letterman eating a sandwich.
Jesus.
It was terrific.
Power move.
How I like of Letterman along the way. The Dump coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 7. That, according to Jeff Passan, only 159 days after Tommy John surgery, two-time MVP Bryce Harper has been cleared to play by the Philadelphia Phillies. That's about half the time it usually takes to come back from that injury.
How is that possible? That's what and is he now going to kind of set this new standard where coming back from this injury is going to be? It's not that he got back a month earlier. When you just said half amount of time, I don't understand. I remember this was a couple weeks ago that, hey, he's on pace to come back in early May. Everybody's trying to figure out, what are you talking about? Let's do the math here. That's unbelievable.
Well, okay, so I don't know, because he could DH, right? And Bryce Harper could play
July
first base. He could play right field. These are the places he could play. First base, you don't have to throw very much, so he could probably survive over there without having a crazy throwing program. You got to throw if you're going to play right field. So maybe where he's going to play
has something to do with it.
Forgive me for being – I'm already thinking about Ohtani as a Dodger. I'm already thinking about the risks that go along with Ohtani being a Dodger. You see where I'm going with this, right? That if he injured himself in his elbow – that shuts his pitching down probably for a year, right? That's what it is. Walker Buehler got his surgery last year. He's going to come back about a year later. That's what it is. But what if there is like a middle ground where if a player like Ohtani, and there aren't any other guys like Ohtani, but he could come back as your designated hitter in 6 months? That's a game changer because at least you're getting half of it in the event. Hopefully it never becomes. He's already had to deal with an elbow injury once. But it is interesting that if you can, with the DH in both leagues, first base where you don't have to throw a ton, you could hide a guy with a Tommy John surgery 6 months after it happens?
So he's the only person where we're having this, because we had this conversation last week. Hey, if he ends up, you're losing two players, not just one. The caller had called in maybe a month ago or so and mentioned that. But to even have that conversation, again, makes me take a step back. When Shohei was just a triple shy of a cycle?
Yeah, homer.
Or a homer shy, or a homer shy. Every time we just bring Shohei into these equations, I'm like, none of this makes sense.
It really doesn't. But am I just out of my mind? Everything I see through the prism of baseball, whether it's Bryce Harper coming back from an injury or a free agent deal or a trade or Kershaw, everything I look at is through how does that affect Ohtani going to the Dodgers?
Okay, I will tell you, and I don't know if they've taken a poll here. I don't know if it probably doesn't happen. GMs, all that stuff, if you can guess. How about all just the MLB experts? You're going to pick one team that you think Shohei Ohtani is going to be on a year from today. Wouldn't the largest percentage be the Los Angeles Dodgers?
I think probably.
So I don't think what you're saying is crazy.
I just can't stop thinking about it. I got a little preoccupation about the whole thing. The NBA fined Dylan Brooks $25,000 for not speaking to the media during their first-round series against the Lakers. The league announced on Sunday. So remember, we were talking like he's shooting his mouth off after they win some games.
Yeah.
After they lose, he really didn't say anything until yesterday. Cost him $25,000 for doing it.
Did you see that video?
Or not doing it.
Did you see that video of Dylan Brooks walking, it looked like, from the arena to the Ritz-Carlton, the Marriott, right?
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So after Game 6, he just went on one of those, I'm going to go guys, I'm not going to take the bus. I'm just going to go get some fresh air, and I'm going to walk from the arena to the hotel.
So just so people that might not know, I think most people do, crypto to the hotel I was talking about, it's
not a
couple hundred yards.
Yeah, it's
not far at all.
It's not far at all. And the entire way, Laker fans, and there's somebody videotaping, giving him the you-know-what. Oh, you're not going to say anything, you're going to say this? And that entire walk, no headphones, nothing. It looks like he was just soaking it all in. People running their mouth, and he said nothing. The man did not have much to say. After
what did you make of it? That he took the walk is interesting.
No, I was okay. I'm actually taking the walk knowing that every Laker fan is going to be on him for the entire – we'll never be able to relate to this. This guy probably just said to himself, man, I ran my mouth. I look like an idiot. I'm an unrestricted free agent. I couldn't hit a shot. I'm just going to go take a walk. The season is over. And then here's 80 Laker fans walking with him.
Pretty funny. What'd you make of Ja shortly after saying, look, my stuff negatively impacted this team. My off-the-court stuff had an effect on this team that did not help us. I need to do better moving forward. I thought that the timing of it was interesting.
I like the perspective because unfortunately for the Memphis Grizzlies, a lot of the times that we talked about them this year, it was less about basketball. It was more about, here's Ja Morant's situation, going live on AG, flashing a gun. It's what are the things Dylan Brooks said. That's a team, and I really do hope them and Dylan Brooks, I hope they just part ways. Dylan Brooks finds another place. They need some vets in that locker room because they got talent. They got – I didn't really feel like they were a threat, but they weren't a threat because they were injured and because they were immature. There was just that portion of it you can control to go get the right people in the locker room. I don't think they have the right people.
They do need somebody in there that is, to use the phrase that everybody is using and overusing, the adult in the room, right? That's one part of it. But I think that the other part of it is you could have the most mature, upstanding guys in there. It's up to Ja to set a better example. Because even if you have the elder statesman that's in there saying, guys, let's make sure we get our rest and take practice seriously.
Will he listen or not?
Not even him. If the best player on the team is off the rails, the other guys are going to follow the example set by the best player on the team. They always do.
That's
now,
a good point.
He doesn't have to be the most vocal. He doesn't have to be he doesn't have to be LeBron James, in other words. But you can't be the guy that is actively distracting and actively sabotaging your own team's best interest. And that he at least acknowledge that he was, I think, is a step in the right direction.
I think you're right about that. I think that's good perspective. If he said nothing and said, you know what, no, yeah, had no regrets, that's different. Sound like he had a little bit regrets on it.
So the Boston Bruins basically pulled a Los Angeles Dodgers. The Boston Bruins had the greatest regular season in league history. No one had ever collected more points over the course of a regular season. The Boston Bruins out in the first round of the NHL playoffs. The Florida Panthers get them in a Game 7 overtime winner yesterday, Sliwa. And hand to God, I watched the entire game yesterday. It was amazing. I don't know any players on either of those teams. Not a Bruins fan, not a Panthers fan. It was awesome to watch because you could feel it. They fell behind 2-0. You're like, they're going to blow this. Then they took a 3-2 lead. Like, these sons of guns, they're going to escape. They're going to now. If they get out of this, they're going to win the whole damn thing. They gave up another goal with 38 seconds left in regulation to tie the game. Goes into overtime, like 5 minutes into overtime. Bang!
They gave up a goal with 38 seconds left.
Yep, 38 seconds left to tie it to send. It was awesome. It was terrific. I enjoyed every single moment.
So there are moments like that in whatever sport you're a fan of. But let me use one example. When the Patriots started 17-0.
Right.
When the Golden State Warriors set a record and won 73 games.
Yes.
It's not uncommon.
No.
What was it? The Mariners.
The Mariners
have the all-time
16 wins, I think.
It's not. I don't know
the
what
Dodgers
it is.
won 111 last year.
But I don't know what it is that if that adds this just. You're supposed to win. You have no margin for error. The only thing that comes out of it, you either start building some momentum or you get clipped early. A lot of those teams get clipped early. I know Patriots lost in the Super Bowl.
38 seconds left. Game-tying goal. It was pretty exciting. Kraken also won in Game 7 yesterday against the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, defending Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche. I was basically Barry Melrose yesterday afternoon, Slee. I watched a lot of hockey. That's what happens when there's not a lot of basketball on late in the day.
How many people have hit you on Twitter saying, hey, you will be the umpire for this?
Let's get into that. I have a lot of questions, and Mace is the person that I want to ask them with.
Umpire.
Let's do a little super crosstalk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles.
KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
All right, so Mace, you are part inspiration, and hopefully you can be part of problem solving.
I aim to inspire.
Good. Well, you have so far. You were in a league of their own.
I was.
You were.
Angry fan number 3.
Angry fan number 3. How did you get that role?
I went to Evansville, Indiana, on a bus filled with listeners. And they were looking for extras for the shooting of A League of Their Own. And they picked me out of the group.
Was there an audition or just you, and you?
You look good in this hat was basically the old-fashioned-y kind of hat that I would slam down at the critical moment. But I must have had a period look to me because that's why they chose me out of the crowd.
Okay, so it was
not an audition.
Luck of the draw.
Didn't read. I've read for other things. I didn't read for this. This one, it was just... You're the guy.
He refused to read.
Stars don't read.
At that point,
right?
I don't read for roles.
I like that.
Yeah.
The reason I ask is a Hollywood Reporter, Fernando Mania is coming back. Universal Content Productions is teaming up with the beloved Dodger pitcher turned broadcaster for a scripted limited series based on his life and career. A network/platform is not yet attached. The project, which is in development, hails from writers Micah Fitzerman Blue and Noah Harpster. Then they list some of their credits along the way.
Anything we would know?
Major League Baseball's Nick Trotta, the captain 30 for 30, is also attached to produce. They've written for things for Painkiller and adapting Disney's Bambi.
Okay, so but this is a live-action narrative story, not a documentary about
Not a
Fernando.
documentary, a scripted series.
Yes.
Docudrama.
A docudrama.
There you go.
I desperately want to be involved in this.
Oh, yeah?
How do I do this?
What's the game plan here?
How do I get involved in this?
All right, so it's not attached to a platform yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Tell me the two names.
The two names are, let's see here, Micah Fitzerman Blue.
Yes.
And Noah Harpster.
Okay. Now, what did I tell you to do with Spirit Airlines, Slee?
You told me to email the CEO, go right to the top.
Yes.
So I think what you're saying and implying here is, Trav, you find these guys' email address.
Yes.
And you introduce yourself to them.
Yes.
And you tell them how much you're excited about this Fernando.
Life belongs to the Bulls, my friend.
This is a great idea. By the way,
they're likely baseball fans.
Yes.
They may very well know you.
See if they follow you on Twitter.
Oh, that's a good plan.
You might be able to actually DM them.
That's a good plan.
Yeah.
This is all very good ideas.
But I do want to say this. Your advice on Spirit Airlines, we emailed earlier today for the third time. Okay. I am 0 for 3. But I'm not a good example.
You've not gotten a response from the CEO of Spirit Airlines.
He does not care about my $85 extra baggage fee.
Some spam filters on that account
to
weed out Sliwa stuff.
I still like the idea that he came with. Maybe it doesn't work for me. Trav, maybe you're the
umpire.
umpire.
VP Public Affairs. What about that one?
Customer service goes into too big of a black
but
hole.
But public affairs is bigger, right?
Yes.
That's like
not a bad way to do
public
it.
VP Public Affairs.
And I
would just go to the guy.
I'm going to do it. What role? So obviously, I'll take anything that's available to me. I've already gotten some suggestions that I should play Terry Forster, which I didn't.
Terry Forster, once referenced by
Big Tub of Goo.
Big Tub of Goo, David Letterman used to call him.
He doesn't want to be in the background anymore. Now his confidence is going up to where he wants a real part.
Yeah. Well, look, I'll take what
where
I
he's got to leave the show for 60 days.
I have a baseball background. I could be out there. I'm too old to be a player. Obviously,
you be a scout.
I can't do that. Maybe third base. Slee suggested third base coach. Something along those lines.
Third base coach.
Something.
Pitching coach. You could bring your actual experience.
I could be Ron Peronowski.
Yes. Let's look at Ron Peronowski.
By the way, it's not super far off. You got to find Ron Peronowski as an older guy.
He does look a little bit like Larry the Cable Guy. He's got that Larry the Cable Guy look. So do you.
I mean, everybody knows what he looks like, though, off the top of their head. So you got to nail that cast.
Well, I'd have to dye the rest of my hair white because Ron Peronowski, in the picture you're looking at, all white hair, right? He's very gray. Yep. So I'd have to go a little bit grayer, but I think I could pull it off. I've never acted. I've never acted as.
Is that right?
Never. Not for a single day.
Well, have you ever heard when we do Jorge's Masterclass? Where we give Jorge an acting scene cold and he just delivers it?
Yes.
Maybe tomorrow we should have Travis do
You'll pick the scene?
a Travis masterclass. Yes, we will hand you the script, sight unseen, and you will deliver.
All right.
And I think that, what is it, Noah Feldstein? Who is it?
Fitzerman Blue, I believe it is. Yes.
These guys may
this
very
might be the
well
reel.
be listening.
This might be the reel that you guys send to them.
Exactly.
That you email to them.
Micah Fitzerman Blue and Noah Harpster.
Okay.
Yes.
Those are the guys.
Those are the guys.
So tomorrow, and I know the perfect script.
All right.
I know the perfect script for this.
Does Slee get a role in this, or is it just a monologue?
It's, let me see. Yeah, you get a line.
All right.
Okay.
You get a line.
All right.
If necessary, are you willing to get on the couch?
Yeah, right,
I
exactly.
prefer not to, but look, I want to be in this project.
Yeah.
I want to participate in this project.
Andy's an actor also.
I have an acting background. I studied at
Any
USC.
tips?
Go for it. In your audition, you're never as big as you feel in your
That's
head.
a really good point.
You always feel like you're over the top in your head. Like, I should be bringing this back. In reality, you need to be turning it up.
By the way, and I always, in my auditions, always afterwards think, I went way too small. Like, did you ever see actually, you were here the day we were going to have Jason Momoa on the show.
Yeah.
And Jason Momoa's audition for Game of Thrones, I mean, he went big and bold. That's what you got. You got to be big and
There's
bold,
a great
man.
story Danny DeVito told when he auditioned for Taxi, to play Louis De Palma, the jerk who runs the taxi cab station. He came in, took the script, blew his nose in it, and yelled, "Who writes this crap?" They loved him right off the bat. They loved him.
We're doing this tomorrow.
All
right.
Yep.
All right. I'm here for it.
I think you might have a shot here, but you got to reach out to them. You got to reach out to them, and the fact that
I'm going to do that.
The fact that we're literally promoting it too. In LA on a sports radio station. I mean, there's also some ties for them. This is good.
Oh no, this is real.
This is the sweet spot.
You're
for
the
me.
guy that's talking about this. You're creating the buzz. They're looking for a platform right now, and you're the guy that's helping.
And how many times have we talked about me watching the Dodgementary on Fernando Mania? That's my all-time favorite show.
It's like your go-to.
It's unbelievable.
It's soothing. It's
got,
relaxing.
It's got
for me.
awkward
so,
at times.
Look, I'll come
it
in
is
this
actually
research.
It is a little weird.
Whatever they need, I'm here to help them along the way.
Is that what you put on to go to sleep at night?
What do you mean?
Do you have a show to put on to go to sleep at night?
I do.
What is your go-to?
Seinfeld.
Fernando.
You go to sleep to Seinfeld.
Yeah. Because my wife and I have had this argument basically every night that she usually goes to bed a little later than I am, so she's not in there all the time. But when we are, she's like, "You've seen this one 10,000 times." Like, that's why it's the lullaby.
Correct.
So I don't have to listen to what's going on. I know what's going on. I start thinking about the joke that's coming, boom, lights out.
Yeah. Now,
it takes about 30 seconds.
Slee, do you have a go-to show to go to sleep to?
For the most part, when I go to bed, I'm not watching anything.
Nothing. You just turn the TV off.
Yeah.
What is it?
It is one of two documentaries. It's either the Elizabeth Holmes documentary, where she holds up that little thing and she's so creepy in the eyes and all that, and the Tom Cruise Going Clear documentary, which I find to be like the most
I don't know that one.
Oh.
What a soothing thing to go to sleep to.
Yeah, both of those sound aggressive.
No. You've never seen either one?
The Elizabeth Holmes one. There's a couple different Elizabeth Holmes things out there.
This is a documentary that explains the entire story.
It's not the Amanda Seyfried
It's not
thing.
the Amanda Seyfried. No.
Okay.
If you want to know what's going on, this is perfect. And then the Going Clear one is a great documentary.
Going Clear, to me, feels like a very unsettling way to go to sleep. But you do you, Mace.
Do you have one?
I used to put on TV and stuff like that in the background to go to sleep, but I've become such an insomniac that even the stuff that I know backwards and forwards that's supposed to be background noise,
not helping.
That will now distract me. Like basically instead of shows, I've opted now for pills and gummies.
Yeah.
You should put the
whatever it takes, right?
You should do the top 10 on Spectrum so you can keep seeing yourself.
Oh yeah,
that's
just keep critiquing myself.
Occasionally, I'll be in here and like one of those top 10s I did will come up over my shoulder, and Ireland go. There you go. It's like I
saw AK yesterday randomly on one of the top 10s.
You are like one of the go-to top 10 guys.
Been in a lot of that.
Well, you are in a million of them. Brian, obviously, John is in just about every single one. I've only run into yours once or twice.
Yeah, I didn't. They didn't.
What was the topic?
They didn't pay enough.
I like that.
Is it
for
can you
YouTube?
Come down, right?
Yeah.
Come on down.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Come on down and give us a couple hours of your time.
You got a couple of free minutes for us?
Whatever it would take. Look, if that's I will work for free. I don't know if I can do that as a SAG member. I probably have to get scale in my Fernando role, right?
That is. Oh, you would have to get scale.
Tell him you'll defer it.
Yeah. Is that something I can do?
Maybe you can defer your scale payment.
Oh, okay. You should also use this phrase. I'd like something on the back end. Just say that.
I want points on the back end.
Just say that, and that will make you.
No, I'm a player.
That will move right up the list.
And then if
for
they
you.
say, "What do you mean?" then you don't have another answer.
Correct.
You're like,
I had to read this thing like
B.
there's no way they're actually turning this into a series. This feels like way too perfect of an opportunity for me. I have no ambitions to act except for in this particular series.
I've got a great among other scenes. There's a scene between me and Jaleel White from Mega Shark versus Crocosaurus that is on YouTube, and I gotta say,
do you hold your own?
I hold my own.
Damn right you do.
I hold my own. There's always one that somebody always steals the shot. That was me.
How is Jaleel White in a more dramatic environment?
Super nice guy. Wanted to ask me only about fantasy football. It's like,
awesome.
I want to ask you about my fantasy football team.
Well,
he's like every other sports
You
fan.
should have said one fantasy football question for every Urkel question.
For every,
you got to go back and forth.
I did not reference Urkel. Yeah. I hear that he hates the reference to Urkel.
Okay, I understand kind of
not
being
enough to cash
over
in
it.
on
He's got no
commercials and
choice.
stuff.
He's got no choice.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that Urkel made him a very wealthy man.
I
I would
so.
think that I'm willing to kind of take the Urkel question if it means I get that residual every couple of weeks.
I actually imagine the people who resent Urkel more. It's not Jaleel White. It's all the other stars of Family Matters because they were supposed to be the star of that show.
Sure.
Right.
Urkel was just brought in to be a goofy side
stole
character.
the show.
You know, he reinvented the entire show.
Yeah.
It ended up completely centered around Urkel. That was not the plan.
Seriously?
No. That was not
Maybe
the
I could
plan
do
at
that
all.
to the Fernando
Yeah,
show.
no. Yeah,
I
you
could come in.
You could steal the entire show.
We're going to
get a
turn this.
spin-off.
We're going to make this about Ron Peronowski.
Yes.
the Ron Peronowski scripted
story.
series.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea. Good idea.
Not a bad idea. So, Warriors, Lakers starting tomorrow.
Hadn't heard.
I keep going back and forth. I keep going back that, okay, this is a good matchup for them. This is a bad matchup for them. Is it just a matter of these are two really good teams and this is going to go a long way? It feels like it.
What I think is really interesting is we know really nothing about the matchup because the 3 games that they played post-trade deadline all had different guys missing. From each team. Yep. So, I mean, I think we learned that the Lakers, not at full strength, can hang with the Warriors, not at full strength. But in terms of trying to predict how certain things will go over the course of a series, and a series is totally different animal than individual games, we really got nothing to go on.
AK, on top of that, too, if you could say, well, you know, the Golden State Warriors they're one of the worst road teams in the entire NBA. It's playoffs. Yeah. They just won their last 2 wins were both in Sacramento on the road.
It is weird, though, to go 10-31
it
on
is,
the road.
But
10-31 is
take that.
A trend.
You're right. They just finished the last 2 wins that they got were both in Sacramento.
That's true. Yeah.
That if there's a team,
and they have a beam and everything over there.
You know what though?
Not anymore.
Is Taylor going? Yeah. I don't want to. I felt bad for Taylor.
It's worth noting.
Yeah, kind of.
I think the Warriors tightened up in that Game 7.
Do you really?
They missed 11 free throws.
Steph even missed a couple.
Steph needed 50, and Kevon Looney had 21 rebounds. Rest of the team,
Wiggins, Clay, Jordan Poole, all of them were.
Clay had a tough night.
I think,
but they beat him by 20, right?
Right. Steph had 50.
Yeah.
Like if say Steph only has 30, which is a lot, that game's totally different.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but I mean, if Steph wouldn't have scored the 50, then somebody would have made
Based
up
on
those
what?
points.
Based on what? The other guy's shooting like 20%.
But he was so good. He's going to take all the shots along the.
It didn't come down. It did not come down to the last couple of minutes.
No.
They had.
You can't just subtract 20 points from Steph.
No, but the
and say,
point
look,
being though, the
would
rest
have been a tie game.
No, but the rest of the team didn't seem up for it.
Right.
That's my point.
Right.
Like the idea that the Warriors showed that they could slay the Dragons on the road. It's like no, Steph showed he can slay the Dragons on the road.
Yeah, but you don't really think that Draymond and Looney and Clay and those guys, they could have a bad game, but it's not that it gets big for those guys. They've been in a million of those games.
Except they played awful in this game.
Yeah, but that's a bad game rather than it got big, right? I mean, if they perpetually had bad games as it got tighter.
That's the one team that I feel like
it's a bad
they're
day.
okay when it comes to the big moment.
I don't know. I mean, Kobe, Game 7 against the Celtics, by his own admission, lost it under the magnitude of everything that series represented.
Right.
And there was nobody in the league more been there, done that than Kobe. And by his own admission, he kind of wigged out.
I cannot wait for my scene tomorrow. I'm gonna start thinking about it. I can't wait to do it.
Such a good scene.
Your part is 35 minutes, just so you know.
It's a stretch too.
I
think it's really going to stretch you as an actor.
So I'm going to read it. I don't have to learn it.
No, you don't have to.
Yeah. Have you seen the movie A Clockwork Orange?
You're not even. It's from A Clockwork Orange. We're going to open your eyes really wide.
It's in a different language too.
I'm Rowdy McDowell in this scene.
Rowdy McDowell.
Is that what's
Malcolm McDowell.
Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah.
Rowdy McDowell's the wrestler.
the Apes.
No,
Roddy Piper.
Yeah,
is who
I'm
you're
getting.
thinking of.
Now's a good time
Roddy
to say.
McDowell is.
I knew there was a McDowell involved.
Yeah,
How about
yes.
that? There's definitely a McDowell, and not the one from Coming to America. Super Crosstalks brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. That's what a hamburger is all about. Mason and Isla coming up next. My acting debut tomorrow during Super Crosstalk.